Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Coach Les, and I am with Mr. Yarwood from Yarwood's Martial Arts. And we are here with another week of YMA Mat Chat. And looking forward to having conversation today and doing this every single week. So stay tuned, plug in, put this in your calendar. It's being recorded on Facebook, on YouTube, and on X. And if you are interested, you'll be able to go back and find the replays. Mr. Yarwood is also then gathering it up and putting it onto his YouTube. And hopefully we will be live on his YouTube here soon. With that, I want to welcome Mr. Yarwood. What are we up to today, sir?
How you doing, sir? Happy 4th of July, by the way.
Woo! Yeah.
Independence Day. No, today we've been discussing a little bit last couple about the life skills that we teach at our school. And last week we talked about goals and how to achieve goals. One of the most important parts of that is actually to have the discipline that goes along with obtaining those goals. So we're going to talk a little bit today about discipline, a couple different types of discipline that we teach in our school to our students that helps them become better students, better people, better martial artists, all that stuff, just overall in general better. So first discipline that we talk about is the kind that everybody thinks about first when they hear discipline, is telling everybody what to do, right? As the instructor, as the head instructor and the owner of the school, people listen to me when I tell them to do stuff. And that's just kind of built into how we do things, because if we don't have that sense of order, people aren't going to really be able to learn. The classes are going to be run chaotically. Kids are going to be running around. So we have to have the discipline for them to listen to me and do what I tell them to do, so we can make sure that everybody in the class is learning and they're not being disruptive. So we talk about when Mr. Yarwood speaks, everybody listens, but that goes along with all of our instructors, right? I empower all of my instructors to have the authority to run classes the way that they need to run classes. If we have kids getting out of line, we positively correct them to make sure that they're back in line and they're following all the rules. So that's kind of the key, the discipline that we're telling people what to do. But to us, that's not the most important discipline. The most important discipline for us is self-discipline, having the kids being able to regulate themselves to do the things that they know they're supposed to do, to keep themselves going towards their goals, to do the stuff at home that they're supposed to do, whatever chores they might have, training regularly, studying regularly, doing all those things that go along with becoming just overall a better person. So we use discipline in a sense that when they get there, there's a whole routine that they follow. When they come in the door, they bow, they put their stuff away, they line up, they find their dot, they stand in attention. We do the oath. All those things are the imposed discipline. But then also they have to have the self-discipline to know that those are the things they're supposed to do. So we don't have to constantly tell them what to do. So we teach them things that are the regular routine stuff that they need to know so that they can start doing it themselves. And then we talk to them about how it's important to be able to do that, not just at our school, but say they're at school, at their regular school with their teachers. They have the discipline to pay attention in class, to listen to the teacher when the teacher's telling them to do something, to go from their classroom to the lunchroom and not mess around and get in trouble, to sit at the lunchroom and eat their food the way they're supposed to eat it, not be throwing it around, all those types of things. It's just everything that they're doing involves self-discipline, be able to monitor how they are behaving everywhere that they go. And then that goes home as well. When mom and dad tell them to do something, we talk about the implied discipline. Mom and dad tell them to do something like clean their room or whatever. They know that that's what they're supposed to do. They say, yes, ma'am, or yes, sir. And then they go do it. But ultimately our goal is for them to be able to do it without being told. So they have the discipline to, all right, my room is dirty. I know my mom wants me to clean it, so I'm going to go clean it. Or there's dishes sitting on the table. They need to get put away, so I go put them up in the sink. Or I take the next step and actually wash them or put them in the dishwasher. Have the discipline to hey, Dad's out in the yard doing some yard work. I wonder if I can go help him and see if there's something that I can do out there. Or when it comes to their training, we have videos for all the things that we do, all of our forms, all of our moves, all of our techniques. Everything is all on our website. So the kids teach them the discipline to set up the time every week that they train at home. They can pull them up on their laptop, get their uniform on, and have a schedule. So they're self-disciplined with their training. So they're not only training at the dojo, but at home as well. And it's kind of helps them with everything else that they're doing when they start to have that idea that doing the things they know they're supposed to do without having to be told to do them is going to help them in once they become productive citizens and adults and move out and start their own families and start teaching their kids. It goes along with them. So teaching that self-discipline for us is a key, and it's vital to everything else that we do, because if they don't have that self-discipline, it's hard to teach them. So they don't pay attention. They don't do what they're supposed to do. They disrupt. They do things to other kids. I mean, it turns into a big mess. So we use the imposed discipline on them to teach them the self-discipline to understand that they're doing what they're supposed to do. So it's a vital life skill for them to learn.
It's very interesting. So as a business coach, one of the things that I strive to have all of my clients do is set themselves up. And I would say today, in this day and age, the number one area is time blocking. So you can see with the parents having to time block to get their kids there and their kids to be able to time block it throughout the course of the week. One of the things that I see is so advantageous is even if they're participating in a sport that is a team sport, a community sport, or even a school sport where they're on a school team, for me, the discipline that you're creating can be taken into school, into that team, into that sport, into that athletic. And one of the things that I do know is that many of the sports in junior high and high school do not, unless it's like gymnastics, do not incorporate enough stretching. They are minimal in their stretching. So for me, that self-discipline coming from martial arts, stretching, learning, pushing the body to with kicks, with punches, moving, twisting, that helps the kids and young adults in their sport. What do you have to say about that, Mr. Yarwood?
Yeah, I think when they're the understanding of what it takes to become a better athlete in general, much less a martial artist, applying the techniques that they're learning from their coaches, from their peers, to be able to have the discipline. Because if they're not doing those things at the practices and they know they need them, then they need to have the discipline to do them prior to. Or if there isn't like a warm-up session when they're expected to come there ready to go, they have to have the discipline to know that that's what they're supposed to be doing prior to the event. Or take football, for example. If you play a skill position, you need to know the plays. You need to practice the plays. You need to read the plays prior to the coach teaching you, so you have an idea of what you're doing. You need to study them, because there's a lot of stuff that goes into a football game, or gymnastics. They have to study. There's things that go into gymnastic moves that are vital for them to be able to perform them correctly. And the kids are taking time to actually study what those moves are and how they work and break them down, and they have the discipline to understand that, they're going to be a much better athlete. They're going to be a bigger asset to their team, because they have a discipline to understand what they're doing versus just practicing it. If they go deeper into it and start to do more work of understanding what they're doing, I think overall that's going to benefit them and whatever team or event that they're part of.
Yeah, I love it. And one of the things that, I was reading on online about this, and, one of the things that it really said, and I'm just trying to find it here. So, and this person quoted, in regards to all sports, players need to have both physical and mental toughness. One of the most widely sought after qualities from martial arts is self-discipline. And this trait alone can take anyone from being average to being great. From the very first day, students in the martial arts are taught about self-discipline and how there are tasks a person should do without being told to do them. Besides learning about the importance of doing homework and household chores, students are expected to learn how to practice on their own. This teaches students that class or team practice isn't enough training, and that they need to go above and beyond on their own time to reach their sporting goals.
I could have written that. That's exactly what we talk about all the time, right? We have it set up within our school that, like I said, with the videos and all that, I encourage the parents to put their kids on a at-home training schedule versus just, saying, hey, did you practice yet? Did you train yet? When you do that, the kids don't have any structure. They don't know. It's easier to just not do it if they don't have a specific time or place that they're supposed to be doing it. So I encourage the parents to set up a day, a time, and an area for their kid to go train. I even have them put on their dobok, right? Put on their uniform and be in the mindset of training. So you're not just willy-nilly doing stuff. Have a plan for what you're going to do. All the things that we're doing in class, they take them home. Every single move, every single technique that we teach, every form that we teach, all the warm-ups we teach is all available to them through video. So while they're at home, they're learning exactly what they're learning at the school. We don't give them any outs, no excuses. They got to do their thing. And you can tell the kids who train at home and the kids who don't. And it's very obvious in their performance in class. It's easier to move forward if all of our kids are practicing outside of the dojo, because then we see, okay, they made some progress, we can move forward. But if we're always teaching to the kid who trains the least, then the kids who have been doing all the other work, they're not going to get as much out of the class as if everybody's doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. It's and I think, having been there, personally been there, it requires you to do much more review work.
Yes.
Right. And once again, let's take it out of the studio of the martial arts, take it right onto the field. Right. If somebody isn't looking at their play, use American football because it's so widely known, right? There's a playbook. If you're not looking at the playbook and memorizing the plays, when it comes time to go to practice and the coach says, all right, let's do this play, or the quarterback says, let's do this play, and you're in a huddle and you have to say, oh, whoa, what is that?
What am I supposed to do?
It's like, well, didn't you read your playbook? I mean, it was there. We just put it in last week. Oh, I haven't had a chance to. I haven't done my homework.
Yep.
Right. So really do appreciate that.
Yeah, I played football from 4th grade all the way through college. And if I hadn't studied my playbook, I wouldn't have played at all. I would have sat the whole time. I wouldn't even have been able to participate in practice, because if you don't know your plays, you don't know what your position is supposed to do, you're worthless. You might as well just sit there and watch, be a spectator. And that's what happens in general. You become a spectator in life because you don't know what's going on around you.
And for parents, this goes back to the extreme basics, brushing your teeth. I mean, how many kids do you know that when they get to this age of what they think is discernment, go, well, I don't need to brush my teeth. I'm just going to get up and get going. And you look and you can see on their gums start to get red. And And it's like, wait a minute, aren't you brushing your teeth? Well, yeah, I am. I'm like, uh-huh. The discipline, you may think you are, but clearly what's being demonstrated is not that. And to bring up a book, there's a book by James Clear called Atomic Habits. And it's one of the greatest books out there. I think every high school student ought to have it, ought to be a designated reading for a high school senior or junior, because what it teaches you, one of the primary things, I'll just share a little nugget, is habit stacking and the self-discipline of creating a habit in your life. And I'm going to use brushing your teeth again, right? Most people brush their teeth when they wake up. Most people brush their teeth when they go to bed. Two major habit forming pieces. Habit stacking means that, okay, I need to do 50 push-ups in the morning and 50 sit-ups in the morning, and I need to do 50 and 50 at night. And the way you can stack it on, I brush my teeth, I do my sit-ups and push-ups, or I do my push-ups, brush my teeth, do my sit-ups. And you do it in the morning and at night, and all of a sudden you have this now habit of doing a piece of physical exercise, and you've attached it to something you've been doing since you were old enough to hold the toothbrush. It becomes a very powerful inducement to creating that self-discipline. So that's one of the things that I would definitely suggest if you're having difficulty, is to read that book and look and see, how do you make these habits, atomic habits as the book is called, that can really make a big in your day and in your life.
Yeah, there's a book. There's a book by a man named Admiral McCraven. It's called "Make Your Bed." He was the for a while the head Navy SEAL. So he's a bad dude, but he did a speech. I forget where he did it. It was at a commencement or something, but he was talking about what it takes to be not only a Navy SEAL, but just a great person in life. And he said, the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning is make your bed, because that gets your day off to a good start. You've accomplished something already. It's set your habit. It's set your tone for the day. So he talks about how just one little thing in the morning, like you talked about, gets everything else going. It gets the juices flowing. It gets you moving because you've accomplished that first task right off the bat, and it starts you off on a great trajectory for the rest of your day. So that's a great book too, called "Make Your Bed" from Admiral McCraven.
I was just thinking about trying to find that clip, because I think it's such a powerful one, and it's only a couple minutes. Let's see if I can find it now. Here, hold on. Here it is. All right. Here we go.
If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. Let's see if I can do this. If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better. To pass SEAL training, there are a series of long swims that must be completed. One is the night swim. Before the swim, the instructors joyfully brief the students on all the species of sharks that inhabit the waters off San Clemente. They assure you, however, that no student has ever been eaten by a shark, at least not that they can remember. But you are also taught that if a shark begins to circle your position, stand your ground. Do not swim away. Do not act afraid. And if the shark, hungry for a midnight snack, darts towards you, then summons up all your strength and punch him in the snout, and he will turn and swim away. There are a lot of sharks in the world. If you hope to complete the swim, you will have to deal with them. So if you want to change the world, don't back down from the sharks. Over a few weeks of difficult training.
And there's just a little bit. I'll just give you a little bit of a nugget. And I'll go ahead and write the name of the speech to change your life. Admiral McRaven, Make Your Bed. I'll put it in the comments so that those of you that want to take a peek at it can find it, look at it. It's from Nate Wiley Studios. And then you'll also see that he's got a 19-minute speech, excuse me. It's at the University of Texas at Austin.
Yep.
Where he addressed the whole university in the class of 2014. So
that's our mantra for discipline. We always ask the kids, what's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? And then we'll all answer you, make your bed. So we use that as a metaphor to self-discipline and get up and do the things you know you're supposed to do. Like Admiral McRaven said, you change your world by doing the little things, because then how you do one thing is how you do everything. So we make sure that the kids understand how important it is to make your bed in the morning. We always get the question, though, is like, what's the difference? I'm just going to sleep in it again anyway. Yeah, well, it's a mindset in how you do things and what you do and how you complete tasks throughout the day and ultimately get to the goals that you set for yourself.
Yeah, I think that when it comes to discipline and looking at, how can it really is a self-control. And there's certain rules, there's certain orders to things that exist out in society and in the world, and the ability to keep working at something that is difficult really does create and enforce and build up your ability to sustain moving forward in life. And people often ask me, so I participate in an online audio platform, and I've been doing it for 3 years, every single morning, 7 days a week. Haven't missed a day. I've been late, I've slept in, I've been ordered to sleep in, but I've still come in during the course of that morning. And even when I was on vacation, I chose to wake up and be on there and get it started for me, not even for the group. And it was part of my vacation because I saw the difference that it would make in making sure, one, I was up at the right time. I was able to take advantage of the beautiful morning, the peace and quiet that exists in the morning. Some people say, well, I'm a night person. I sleep until noon. It's like, well, I'm a night person. I love nights too. I also love the morning, to be able to say some of the same benefits that staying awake, being the last one awake, and the silence and everything at the end of the day to relax exist in the morning. Waking up, especially when you're outside, you wake up and there's a freshness. And as the sun comes up and shifts from night to morning, there's a crispness, there's a click that seems to happen. And when until you've experienced it over and over and over, you don't understand it. It's just like somebody yapping and talking about it. And I think the discipline to be able to do that, to get up, to be able to manage that conversation for an extended period of time, creates just an empowering conversation for even people that are just watching what you're doing. Some never meet you, never talk to you. They just watch and they notice. The number of people that have come in at 2.5 years into my online audio show and say, what impresses me most about this is the consistency. You're like a rock. You're still here and still at that same time. And people say, how do you do it? I'm like, well, it's self-discipline because I'm not getting paid. It's not an ego thing. It's driven by the discipline that I have from my time with, in this particular case, my spirituality and connecting that way. So there's a huge discipline to that. And I know, Mr. Yarwood, you do several things like that in your life, your hikes.
Yep. Every morning, well, every day, it's not always, sometimes mornings I have other things happening, so I'm not able to get out in the morning. But the mornings that I don't have something planned, I get out and go for a 3-mile ruck walk through the park across the street. And there's nobody there. The sun, the sun's just coming up. The animals are there. The birds are chirping. It's beautiful. It's tranquil. It's serene, but it's also it's wonderful to get out there, and I feel a draw if even on the days that I have other things going on, I feel like I want to get out there and go for a walk. So it went from being self-disciplined to, all right, now if I'm not doing it, I feel something, like this pull to go do it. So ultimately I end up doing it at some point throughout the day, just because it's part of my day. And when you make something part of your day like that, you'll do what it takes to get it done. You make it, you make it a priority. And for me, that's a priority because not only is it physical activity, but it's also almost spiritual, because I'm out there by myself. I'm with my thoughts. I'm getting my day organized. Whatever I'm thinking about throughout the walk is just, that's part of what I have to do every day. So it's vital that you have something like that.
And a little known fact, a cure for a headache, one of the best cures for a headache, not only is it water consumption, but it's going for a walk. As simple as going for a walk.
Yeah. Collecting vitamin D is what I say.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think we're coming up on 30 minutes. Is there anything else, Mr. Yarwood, that you'd like to stress in this point to wrap it up?
I just want to make sure that people are not making excuses for things. Make choices that are self-disciplined choices and not excuses. It's easy to find a reason to not do something. So stop making those decisions. Make the decision to do something. And I guarantee you, when you're done with it, you'll feel a lot better afterwards and won't have the regret of not having done it.
Awesome. And feel free, by the way, to drop questions, to reach out to us. Both of our informations are right below us. And, that's my website is underneath me, and Mr. Yarwood's is underneath him. Feel free to reach out. Both of us are easily communicatable with. A lot of people go, oh, I don't want to put my personal information out there. It's like, you're not looking at two people that have that philosophy. Our personal information is readily available to make a difference in the world, reach out to us. That's my last statement. And without that, I'm going to do a little fun send-off from Yarwood's Martial Arts, and we will see you next time.
Happy Independence Day, all.
All right. Happy 4th.